Right, the sun is out, it's warm, but that's all going to change next week. So I've just checked my local weather apps. I've got a few on the phone and they're all saying there's going to be at least 4 nights where we're going to get at least down to minus, well, not quite minus, it's 1 degree to 0 degrees Celsius. So there's going to be probably 4 nights or early mornings of frost. But the main plants I want to protect are now protected. Obviously we've got the covers over the arid bed. They're all happy in there. We've got the Paragibalia and all the more tender palms in pots tucked away in a another shelter here, which is more like a greenhouse, I suppose. Quite a solid structure. We've got some experimental palms in there, like the Phoenix Robolini, which is in the ground, and a lot of the McQueen palms and other more tender palms in pots. They're all clustered together in there. They should be fine at 0 degrees, not worried about them. Insects will stay out till they get frosted. Yeah, most things are still doing well, looking alright. We've still got the odd flower on the passiflora there. Still plenty of wasps and flies on the flowers, on the fats here. I'm going to be a little bit cautious because I did get stung by a wasp the other day, and I won't say it's a bad reaction, but I did have my arm swell up for nearly a week, so I'll try and avoid getting stung again. Yeah, so we've got the centre bed covered now. So this is a sort of update from yesterday's video when I was talking about the palms. I mean, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing thing in the world, but it'll do the job. So the Temu cover I had weren't quite long enough for what I want to cover the whole bed, but I had to put another frame at the front with some corrugated and then attach the clear tarp to that, and then we've got the another corrugated cover over the top of the Jabalia there. So that's a solid structure now, and we've got all the bamboo I cut down earlier in the year. I kept the big canes, and that's all adding to the stability of the tarp. I mean, that is quite a thick tarp, this one, so that's not going to be too bad as regards to wind, but that is all tie wrapped in or zip tied in, so should be pretty solid. Like I say, we've got the bamboo sort of structure to that to give that a bit of support. Again, just heavy duty dahlia stakes for this solid part of the structure, and then I cross braced them with some old polytunnel tubing I had. So yeah, this is actually, even though it looks sort of fairly thin and flimsy, it's quite a solid structure. It's not, I'm giving it a good tug, and that's not hardly moving, so that's going to hold up to any winds. Not concerned about that. Yeah, so obviously the Phoenix Canariensis, I mean, if I was hardcore, I could do something with that. I could tie up the fronds and get a big fleece bag over the top of it, but I really survived every winter we've had so far with no major issues, so I'm not really concerned about protecting that. It can take minor damage, but in general that's pulled through. Even the 2018 Beast from the East with very little damage. It did spear pull actually, 2018 Beast from the East, but came back strong and had no issues since, and that's got a lot bigger. The sort of damage you'll see on the Canariensis is this sort of brown tips when it gets frosted a bit, but the fronds themselves are pretty frost resilient up to a point, obviously. But you know, -6, -7, minor damage. After that, then you could be looking at more damage. But I'm talking about a bigger, more mature palm like this one. Small palms that the small Phoenix Canariensis will spear, pull, stroke, die on you if they're newly planted. So that is one that, when they're small, I would consider putting a shelter over. Yeah, so like, we've got the hardy parlour palm here, Camadoria radicalis. Never had an issue with that. Been in the ground a couple of years now. Cordline red star. So I'm guessing this is, I don't know, over 7 foot now. Because it's sort of protected by the big Trachycarpus fortunei here, and the Phoenix fronds, that doesn't really take any damage. That's been fine. Some of the cord lines, again, we've got some smaller cord lines here. Some of the more tender ones, we've got Southern Splendor, and we've got Coral one there, which obviously can be tender, but I don't really protect them other than the natural protection they get again from the fronds from the Canariensis. But again, the reason why I've got such a big cover on this, and I didn't really explain myself yesterday, I just sort of went into the, you know, got the queen palm here and some other small cold hardy palms, but not something that's going to succumb to most UK winters. So we've got a needle palm, we've got a saw palmetto, and we've got a dwarf palmetto there that survive most UK winters. But we have got some other stuff which, you know, rather than protecting two individual plants here, the queen palm and the robusta at the other end, there's a lot of stuff in between which will benefit from being protected as well. So a good idea is, if you've got a lot of tenders, plant them in the same area, then you can just do one big protection rather than lots of little ones. So this is the idea with this one, because what we have got in here is again some more tender cord lines. We've got a red sensation and another Southern Splendor there, so that is obviously benefiting from the overhead protection. And we've got a lot of palm grass in there, the Soteria palmifolia, which I know a few other YouTubers are growing this in the UK and sort of concerned about the hardiness. Well, I've had this in the garden for 4 winters, and yes, it will die down to the ground, but they'll come back and it grows fast. But I've got a lot of a big sort of clump here, which again is sort of intermingled with the Washingtonia robusta, so it's sort of getting some natural protection from that. But also we've got the cover over the top now as well, so that will undoubtedly die to the ground if it gets cold, but it'll come back and come back strong. And don't underestimate how big this palm grass can get, because most people say it gets to 3 or 4 foot. Well, I've got some at the back here which is over 6 foot. We can see that behind the canna there, it's come up and sort of folded over. But yeah, so again, if you don't want lots of little palm shelters everywhere, consider clustering all your really tender plants, stroke palms, you know, cord lines, whatever. If you've got more than one area, you could just do one covering rather than lots of little ones dotted about. That's always a good way. Yeah, so the Musella Carpa. I'll let this get frosted over the next week, and I'll cut the leaves back, and then I'll just fleece bag the pseudo stems, and that's what I've done the last few years, and that's been fine. So yeah, enjoying the last warm day before the cold week ahead comes. So daytime temperatures are literally not going to get much more than 4 or 5 degrees, and again we're going to be down to sort of 0, possibly lower. Nothing too harsh where I am. Again, I'm coastal, but I'm sure a lot of you further north or inland are probably going to get a lot worse. But by now we should be prepared for these things. Yeah, so in general, garden looks good now. We'll pick up next week and we'll see how the garden looks then. It will probably look very different because, like I say, a lot of this green lush foliage is going to be gone. These little dwarf Cavendish are definitely going to be gone. They're not going to survive a frost. That'll turn them to mush. But again, not concerned about them. We'll leave it there. Just a quick one, just to say I'm sort of prepared. I have got some big fleece bags in the shed, which I can pull out for some of the bigger bootier odoratas. So I've got 3 in the back garden here and 1 in the front. I don't protect the one in the front. I just don't think that's a better, sunnier position in the front garden, and things tend to do a bit better out there. But just also, it doesn't look nice, in your front garden, fleece bags and whatnot. So I let nature take its course with the stuff in the front. But the ones in the back here, I do like to keep looking nice. So I will be tying the fronds together and using fleece bags. I probably won't do that this week unless the weather forecast changed drastically and we are going to get sort of -2s and 3s, and I might consider doing it at that point. But until then, they're going to be open and free for now. But I say it's not a big deal. Once you tie the fronds up, that's sort of quite a neat little sort of bushy plant to put a fleece bag over. And I've got these fleece bags which I think they're 2 meters by 1 meter, and they've got a drawstring on the bottom and a zip. So if we get a weak freeze, for instance, I can whack a fleece bag over, drawstring at the bottom on during the day. If it does get mild and sunny, then unzip it, let some airflow in, zip it up at night, and then as soon as it comes mild again, they come off. But other than that, I don't really have much to protect. I do have a few tree ferns. One's close to the house I don't protect at all because they're right next to the conservatory. They don't get too frosted. This one I don't normally do much with. I'll stick some leaves in the crown, and on a anything sort of -4 and under, I will put fleece in it. And to be fair, the one big tree fern at the bottom here I don't really do much with because it is underneath the canopy of the big cordlines. So that is sort of got some natural protection. But again, just some leaves in the crown of that keeps that. Find that does a pretty good job of protecting that. Yeah, so I think we've got a few leaves still hanging on. We haven't really had any winds to take them off. It's been quite quiet and mild, and I'm even surprised at this stage that the acer at the back here, that's normally dropped its leaves, but now that's holding on to them frustratingly, because I really want that opened up, because that's blocking a lot of light out to the summer house. So that really needs to, sooner them leaves come off the better, that'll get more light in there for the palms and other plants I've got sort of overwintering in there. This is the bridge I had to take up again. So normally I've got a bridge over here, which is that had to come out due to obviously this structure here, this big shelter. Yeah, so the bridge is raised up a bit, so that would have been a bit awkward with the frame with the protection for that, so that had to come up. So yeah, basically I've just got a couple of aquatic planters down there, which the bridge sort of goes over that, so it makes you feel like you're walking over water when you're not really. Anyway, so that is why that's there. I'm going to find a place to put that. Yeah, we don't normally get a lot of leaves in the garden, but again, because we haven't had the winds, and normally the wind comes sort of directly this way, and the wind normally takes all the leaves over to the back way rather than into my garden. But at the minute, yeah, we've got a few leaves. I'm not concerned about that. They soon blow about and feed the soil for next year anyway. Right, so we'll leave it there. Still got some really nice flowers on the fuchsias. Thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next one.